I am joined today by the lovely Kat from Social Cat Media, and I am so excited. We're going to be talking today about the number one lie that you tell yourself about Instagram. I mean, really, we're going to talk about like all social media, but both of us are primarily on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure most of the world is. So that's what we're going to focus on. But before we jump in, I just want to tell you a little bit about her. So she is a fellow Ontario girly out in Peterborough, and she's on a mission to help small business owners own their role as the marketing director in their business, but also have fun while doing it, especially as small business owners wearing so many different hats in their business. She is a mom of two, a wife, and a fan of all things Pink and Taylor Swift. She's a certified social media strategist and loves working with entrepreneurs who are driven by a deep purpose or passion, just like her. She helps her clients find balance online, achieve their goals, and create some freaking good content. And to top it all off, 5% of her profits go directly to her social media for social good fund, and that's donated to important human rights, environmental, and societal causes. So thank you so much for hopping on the pod today. Can't wait to chat with you. How are you doing today?
Oh, hi. I'm so excited to be here. I am doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm super envious of your pink office. I feel like I need to just immediately paint mine.
All pink all the time, baby.
Literally, it's so good. And I'm like trying to bring in the pink accents around me, but it's just really lackluster compared to what you have going on. So
You just gotta go for it and paint all the walls pink.
yeah, we gotta go full pink, or what's even the point? All right, so let's just jump right in. I know that people are out here stressing about socials. Like they are out here spending hours a week scrolling reels for inspo, getting, caught up on the triple hook strategy that everyone's talking about and feeling like they're never going to get ahead. And I mean, I'm talking a big game right now, but just a few months ago, we had a strategy call power hour, and after that, I walked away being like, okay, fine, maybe I should schedule my post. And now I'm working like a month out in content. So this is not to say that, it's easy or uncommon no matter where you are in your business journey. But are you seeing the same thing I am where clients are just so hung up on socials and posting frequency?
Oh, 100%. And like, it's so funny that you mentioned that because even today I was scrolling threads and I saw a post that was like, don't schedule your content. Like, I scheduled my content and it performs so much worse. And I'm like, maybe that's just not good content that you were creating then because that's not how it works.
I know, especially when Instagram rolled out their own scheduler. Like before, I kind of bought into it more because I know that, third party apps, blah, blah, blah. But then Instagram put out their own schedule. And I'm like, well, they're not going to punish you for literally using features that they gave you.
Literally, Instagram is a business because of us. Us creating content is how they make money. So they want us to create content and scheduling it is totally okay.
Yeah. And that's why I always also tell people like use the features. They want you to use the features. They're there for you. Be editing in Instagram as much as possible. Be scheduling your posts with the Instagram editor. The more time that you're in the app and you're using the app, like I don't know if that's legit, you can tell me, but I feel like it gives you good Instagram karma.
Well, it's like they make these features, they want people to use them. So, like, take advantage of those. Don't overthink it. Everyone's always like, what app should I use? Like, how do you edit your videos? And like 99% of the time, it's in Instagram. Like, it is a my last resort if I'm like, have to go outside of Instagram to edit it. If it causes that much work, I'm not gonna create that content. It's like not worth it.
I know, I'm with you on that because it's a tool in your business, an important tool and wonderful for lead generation and everything, but I always like to think of it as percentage wise. You have a certain amount of time every week that you're going to allocate to your business. If you are spending 75% of your small amount of time that you have to work on Instagram, and this is not a direct revenue generating activity for you, then you're never going to be able to scale or grow your business because you're getting hung up on like this hamster wheel of content creation every single week.
Yeah, and like the thing about Instagram is like it never ends. Like you could literally spend your entire day on Instagram, always be seeing new content that's probably going to make you feel crappy that like why didn't I make that post or like I should do something like that. You're going to probably not engage with people. Like you're going to just be scrolling by and like forget to comment or cheer people on. And at the end of the day, you're not going to have much to show for it. So it's like so important to put time constraints on social, because it's like one of those things that it will expand to the space that you give it. So
Yeah,
if you don't put that like boundary on it, it's going to just get bigger and bigger, and it's going to feel just so all encompassing and like so overwhelming.
totally. Do you think you had a conscious mindset shift from how you consume social media?
100%. And I think what I'm saying with this is not, it's not bad to have that like mindless, checked out, like just watching funny reels at nighttime. Like that's totally okay. But we want to make sure that there's times where we're like really intentional about the time that we're using on social. So like thinking about if you're opening up the Instagram app is like, what am I hoping to get out of this right now? Like, am I here for that like mind just want to laugh before bed, and like that's totally fine. But if it's a business task that we're working on, is like asking yourself those questions before you open the app, so you don't get sucked into that like mindless scrolling, that you have like, okay, I'm going to go and comment on every post I see, or I'm going to like watch stories, but I'm going to make sure that I ask a question, or I'm going to react to the stories and start those conversations. So it's really like having that game plan before you go on social.
Yeah, I agree. And also just being really aware of how often you're just reaching for your phone without even realizing it. And then before you know it, you've opened up Instagram. I feel like I catch myself doing that all the time. And when you shift away from, okay, I'm actually not using this to dissociate right now, I'm using this as a tool in my business, it completely changes how you interact and use socials.
And there's some really good apps that can help, because one of the most dangerous things of the platform is like it never ends. So you could just like, oh, I'm just gonna watch stories, and then all of a sudden you watch a couple stories, and you're scrolling reels, you end up somewhere else, and then you forget why you even opened the app, because like maybe you opened the app to actually make a story for your business, which is going to be way more beneficial for your business than just scrolling stories. But I always like putting my phone in another room. If it's like not social media time right now, I'll just like take it out of my office. But there's also some really good apps that can like cause you to pause. I can pull them, we can link them in the show notes, but there's one that like makes you take a breath before it actually opens
Oh,
the app.
cool.
There's one you can set up where you're growing a tree, and if you like ignore the warning, it will kill the tree that you're growing. So there's like a little
Oh
bit
my
of
gosh.
like, make sure that you don't open the app, because like this tree that you've been growing is gonna die. So there's some really good like tools, because you shouldn't feel bad that that's the way that you use social, because that's literally what these platforms goal is, and they have some very smart people working on them that make us get sucked in. So like, don't feel bad that you need to have extra tools in place to help you with it.
I think pretty much every single person would benefit from those tools, right? Like you said, the reason that you spend so long scrolling reels and stories and everything is because they designed it that way. So you're just doing what the app wants you to do, and that's totally fine, but we can find strategies so that that's not happening to you if that's not what you want at this point in your life or your business journey. So when we get down to it, what do you tell people is like the minimum viable content that they need to be putting out each week? If we're going through like a very stressful time in business, let's say a very stressful time in personal life, and you want to be, even if you want to be batching a month ahead or you're just posting in the moment, what is the minimum amount that you recommend to your clients for posting every week?
This is such a good question. And what we need social to do is support our business and our life. So if there are times in your business or in your life where you are like barely keeping your head above water, we need social media to support us and not it feel like it is something that is like weighing us down. So the bare minimum, we want to be still showing up in our audience's feed if at all possible. That being said, like when I took mat leaves with my kids, there are times where I didn't post for a month. And like, if you need to do that, you need to do that. And like, that is totally okay. But to stay in front of your audience, even just having one post a week that you sit down at the beginning of the month, you create those 4 posts, you schedule them, and that foundation is there. Often that's what you need to like just get a big sigh of relief because you know that that's taken care of. You can then show up in stories and
Mhm.
connect with your audience there. And then the other thing is like when you have that foundation taken care of, you're going to feel more creative. So like if you see a reel that inspired you, you're going to be able to like go and create it in a few minutes instead of being like, oh, I haven't posted in a couple weeks. Like, should I make this reel, or I really should make that graphic that I thought about? And it kind of gets into a shame spiral. So even just getting that like bare minimum taken care of and scheduled is going to give you so much breathing space to actually enjoy social media again.
I totally agree. It's like that blank canvas feeling where it's so overwhelming to start when there's nothing there and you put so much pressure on that first one back or whatever it is, like your new posting schedule, or you've changed your branding and now none of your old reel covers are right, or whatever it is. Getting something out there and building off of that is so much better. How do you feel about people and the strategy of, having almost like themed days? So let's say every Monday you're going to do a testimonial carousel. Every Tuesday you're going to try and do a trending reel. Every Wednesday you're going to do a meme, whatever. How do you feel about people who are on a more rigid posting schedule because that helps them batch?
If it is a tool that is helping them stay consistent and feel good about their content that they're creating, I always say go for it. Like if it's working for you. But what I would want to like reflect upon that is like looking at how that content is performing. Because yes, being consistent is important and showing up for your audience. But if that content isn't actually like achieving our goals in our business, then what are we putting that time and that work into? So something like that is like, it's always great if it's working for you and if it's helping you get through a stressful season or
Mhm.
a busy time, following that really rigid schedule, getting it done. But the key thing there is to have the time to reflect on it, to dive into the analytics a little bit and say like, okay, like actually when I post those carousels with tips, like those are my top performing posts. So how can I do more of those? Or maybe I can actually drop one of those posts a week that isn't really doing much for me. So it's
Mhm.
like having that rigid post schedule is a great starting point. And then I'd want to see us like kind of pushing and growing from there.
Yeah, because let's say you start doing 5 posts a week, but 2 of them are getting barely any reach. No one cares about them. Then you might as well only do 3 posts a week and take that off your plate, take it off your, to-do list and just really focus on those 3 days that are doing well.
I think there's like so much pressure with social and like all these things that we feel like we like quote unquote should be doing. And especially when you see people who are like selling you on this like the one solution. And
Mm,
the thing with business and with social media, like there isn't just if you just do this one thing, like if you use this one hook for your reel or this like one POV statement, like that's not the solution to social, unfortunately. And it takes experimenting with content. And so that's where sometimes those like more rigid post schedules can constrain us a little bit because it is important to try different things. And we get really like protective of our content as entrepreneurs and business owners. But sometimes like the best thing you can do is just like post it, even if you're like, this isn't my best work, or I'm not sure if my audience is going to respond to it. Is just like post it and see what happens. Cause like usually nothing bad can happen with the content that we're posting. And yeah, trying a different style of reel or a different type of content, like that is a great way to see what your audience is going to respond to.
Totally. I repurposed a reel a few weeks ago. This is something that we've talked about before about, pulling content that did really well from this time last year or from 3 months ago, whatever. I pulled it, I put some different text on top, and I didn't even do a good job covering the text. Like you can see the text from before
Yeah.
under it, posted it, and it's the only reel I've ever done that's gone viral. And there's over like 1 million views on it. I've gotten like 1,000 followers from it, whatever. And it was a nothing. It was a throwaway post. I put up a post that wasn't doing well. So I was like, whatever, I'll just throw up this reel that performed well a few months ago, put it up as an afterthought. And then all of a sudden it started doing well. So that to me, I learned so many lessons from that. I learned repurposing is the best. I learned that reels do not have to be perfect to do well. And I learned that going viral is really not worth the hype because yes, it has 1 million views. Yes, I got 1,000 followers from it. A lot of those followers I know are not my ideal customer and are likely never going to convert into a customer. And honestly, at this point, it's just annoying me because every single day there's so many notifications coming in still from that post, still getting followers that are not ideal. And I'm like, okay, I don't care anymore. That was so long ago. I just want to focus on my new content and the people that are already here. So I think there's so much pressure and focus to be creating content that's going to go viral. And it's just such an unnecessary vanity accomplishment in business.
Okay, and the other thing is like with the repurposing, I think so much of the pressure that people feel is like this need to always be creating new content and like I need
Mhm.
ideas. I don't know what to post, but I don't even know how many posts I have on Instagram, like probably too many. There's like 1,000 ideas right there. And I think it's so important to remember that you might remember every single post that you made, but your audience doesn't. Even if they've been following you, they don't remember what you posted 3 months ago. And those messages and those posts are like the first place you should be going for content ideas. So, like, instead of the random reel that you screenshotted or Googling for ideas, like go to what you've already created, see what's performed well, but also see like if there's something that didn't perform as good as you expected, like how can you do that in a new way? So like maybe it's adding new text on a reel or like turning it into a carousel. Like I think that's probably the biggest missed opportunity I think most small business owners make on Instagram is not repurposing content and repurposing ideas.
Yeah, I hear that all the time from my clients is like, well, I don't know what to post this week. I'm running out of ideas, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I mean, honestly, you should probably only have 5 ideas that are really, really core to your business. And we're just recycling through them and we're changing up the wording because really the focus here is going to be creating that really, really strong recognition and trust with your audience. So we need to be saying the same things over and over again so that you become established and known for that. And it's not about coming out with all these new ideas and whatever all the time. It's about reassuring people and really standing firm on what you do believe and what you are saying. And it's possible that you can say something in 20 different ways, right? And every single time it's going to reach a different component of your audience. A different percentage of people are going to relate to that. So I always say, like, I want to see your brand story every week. I want to see your core themes being cycled through, your offers being cycled through. It's not about creating new offers all the time, creating new content. It's about reaching new people and nurturing the people that you've already reached.
And the other side of it, like you mentioned the importance of the brand story, which same thing. And the first thing I always do is go to someone's account to see if I can A, see a photo of them, but also like B, learn who they are. Super important for building that connection with your audience, but also the trick I also love to share is that it's really important for your Instagram security too. So if you get hacked, Instagram will make you take a picture of yourself, like holding a piece of paper that says like your name and all that kind of stuff, and send it to them to like verify that that's your account. So if you don't have a photo of you on your profile, they don't know it's your account. So like, yes, you need it for connection and like building that with your community, but also good for security.
Do you think that there are any small businesses that are, exempt from the need to be a personal brand?
Define small business.
I feel like Honestly, anything. Like, if you are a
Mm.
boutique shop, or if you are a doctor or dentist, or if you are like a teeth whitening bar, or you're at, a jewelry maker, so many people, even photographers, I find, like, only ever show work product. They'll show the bracelets they're making, they'll show their client photos, they'll show transformation, and you have no idea who is actually rendering the services, or if it's a team or whatever. But I know some people are like, well, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about the product. It's about the people, blah, blah, blah. I personally think people want to buy from people. We want the personal connection. I want to see your face, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. So the question I always ask is like, why would someone care? So like, why would I care about, let's say, a piece of jewelry? But what's going to make me care is like the person's story, or like, why the materials are sourced from where they're sourced from. So there are times where it doesn't have to be like straight up your personal story, but we still want to hear like the feelings behind the business and the thoughts. And like, yeah, so when we get into like more very direct service to service, so like a dentist or a doctor, um, sometimes there are obviously like legal and
Hmm.
those other things come into play. But I still want to see like the staff that are working in the office. So no, you don't need to tell me like the dentist's like favorite vacation spot, or like why they want to be a dentist. Like maybe they don't want to share that, but I still want to see the staff of the office and content, and get a sense of like who they are and the vibe of it, because that's going to make me choose to go to that office versus one that's just like very cold,
Hmm.
just sharing like brush your teeth reminders type content. Like that human connection is the most powerful thing you can do on social, is to make people connect with you and feel something when they consume your content.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, no one's that special. Like, we're all out here doing the same business as someone else. And what is setting you apart is you running the business. It's you deciding every single decision that goes into it and showing up every single day. So the more that you can open up and share that, the more you're going to find your people. Because someone who wants to work with me is not someone who is going to work with a completely different personality style of business coach. And so the more I can show my personality, the more I can let the people who are meant to work with someone like me find me, and make sure that that's a good fit. When you're hiding your personality, you're hiding, behind whatever it is, your product photos, you're just missing out on those opportunities to allow your best people to find you and connect with you and feel comfortable engaging with you. But I mean, I think we both know that is really intimidating for some people, especially when we're thinking about, well, they want to show up consistently. So that's so stressful because maybe they just want to go on Canva and batch a bunch of graphics and have those done. So it's one of those things where you can warm up to it. And maybe if we're saying you're scheduling a post every Monday, it's like you're going to just start by sharing a picture of your coffee on stories. And then a week later, maybe you're going to share like your face in a boomerang. So it goes really fast. Like, there's ways you can warm up to it so it's less stressful for you. And I think that it's just okay if it takes you a little bit of time to be popping on stories and talking without a second thought.
Oh yeah, and I always use the example of baseball because I started playing baseball last year as a 30-year-old woman. And I play with a bunch of people who've been playing since they were kids. And as someone who is like decently athletic, I thought I would be like decent at it,
Yeah.
even though I had never swung a bat. But it turns out I can't just like go out there once a week because I don't practice. I just go to the games on Sundays. Turns out I'm not that good at baseball because I am just learning. And so the same thing with social, like it's really easy to see the people that have been doing this for literally almost a decade
Hmm.
and be like, well, my first time isn't going to be as good as that. So I'm just not going to do it. It's okay to like not be good at it at the start and to take those baby steps of like, yeah, just sharing a photo of your morning setup. Like you don't have to
Hmm.
be in it. That's just going to help your audience like know who you are.
Totally.
And I think often people think about as service providers and like, yes, if it's a service provider, the face of the business that comes into play, but it's also so important for product businesses. And I think that's really overlooked. Like the best example I have of it is like 7 years ago when I was engaged and like getting ready to get married, I followed this flower company nowhere near with to me. Like I couldn't hire them as a wedding vendor, but I found them on Instagram. They had beautiful florals. But the reason I followed them and still follow them like a decade later is the person behind the business. And like they were showing up every day in their stories and just kind of talking with people, sharing who they were as a person. And that's what made me keep following them, not just pretty flowers.
Yeah, and rooting for them, right? And it also makes pricing a completely different situation. When you're showing up and there is no face behind the brand, it comes across as very removed, then people are going to associate the price that you are listing for your products, for your services, really differently than when they want to support you and then when they believe in what you're doing and they genuinely want to become part of your world in some way. There is truly just so many benefits to showing up online. And as much as I think people cringe when they hear show up, because it's almost like a trigger, because you're like, I don't know how to show up every day. It's too stressful. As much as it is hard, it will bring so much benefit to your business the more that you do it. And I mean, I vividly remember the first time I talked on stories. I was sitting in a parking lot. I probably re-recorded it like 5 times because I was so stressed out about how my voice sounded. And I was like, I do not sound like that when I'm recorded. But now I don't even hear a difference between how I talk on a recording and how I talk in real life, which is so wild because I know so many people when they hear themselves talk, I don't sound like that. I don't sound like that. It's like you're just not used to it. So it's a muscle that we're flexing, we're practicing. And the more you do it, the better. And obviously, there's going to be some tools to help you do this. You can really rely on your core themes, like we've been talking about, figuring out that strategy behind what is the content that you're putting out and what is the intention behind the post. What are you trying to get out of this? And having a really strong strategy and working on your business mindset and your confidence in all of this is going to come with time. And you can definitely get there faster with a coach, and you can definitely get there faster with specific designed programs and supports in place that are going to take a lot of that work off for you, which is exactly what Kat offers. And luckily for you, there may or may not be a little opening coming up soon because normally this is like a pretty exclusive, closed and open program. So why don't you tell us what's coming up and what's going on?
Well, we're in the beautifully cold month of November in Ontario, which means Black Friday is only a few weeks away. And so the Social with Cat Club will be opening for a few days over Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And that is my comprehensive social media support program for small business owners. So if you're feeling after like hearing Mariah and I talk and being like, yes, I want to be showing up more. I know I can do it. I can share myself online, but you're like, okay, but actually what do I post? The club is perfect for you. So every week you're going to get tailored and targeted reels ideas with step-by-step instructions and exactly what to write on them for your niche. Every month there's a Q&A call to ask those burning social media questions. So like when Instagram drops one of those updates and you're like, WTF is going on? I'm here for you. We have monthly workshops and really just like that support because like it feels like so much and you're just out there doing it by yourself and wondering like how am I supposed to do that? This is how.
Yeah, well, you already are doing so much as a business owner. You're already executing your service or making products. You are already out here trying to sell, trying to market, do all of the things. And adding Instagram on top of that, we know is essential. It's amazing for lead generation, it's amazing for nurturing. And if it's taking you hours and hours and hours to get posts out there, that's just taking away your energy, your capacity, and your time. So with the club, you're going to get so much of that time back. So you're just going to open up your email, whatever it is, bang out your posts for the week, and then you go on your merry way. They're scheduled. You can continue on with so much less stress. So I really can't endorse it enough. It's such a perfect pairing with doing any sort of coaching because the more you can free up your time and your capacity and your stress level, the more you can get out of your coaching. I always say, like, if what you're worried about is time or money, then you're not going to be able to actually execute the strategies that you are working on. So when we can take social media stress off our plate, it just opens up so much more of your world. So truly cannot recommend it enough. I'll put the links in the show notes so that you can make sure to be getting on the wait list, that you can be right in there when the doors open on Black Friday and just like drink your pumpkin spice latte whilst browsing all of your amazing new support. That's just going to be the greatest early Christmas present you could ever give yourself, honestly.
100%. Although by Black Friday, I will be drinking a sugar cookie latte, not a pumpkin spice latte. So,
What? You make this switch before December?
oh, yeah, girl. I start decorating for Christmas the beginning of November.
That's true. I do too. November 12th, as soon as Remembrance Day is over, November 12th Christmas tree is up,
100%.
but
If
I
we're
will
gonna
note
get
the pumpkin
through a
spice.
long, yeah, if we're gonna get through a long Ontario winter, I need like as much
Twinkle lights.
joy. Yeah. Like,
I'm with you on that, but I'm a candy cane hot chocolate girl for sure. Can't can't go without it. All right, well, thank you so much for joining today and for talking to us all about pressures of social and showing up and all the important things that is top of mind for small business owners everywhere. I will link all of Kat's info and her socials and the waitlist, everything like that in the show notes. And we will see you on IG.